I never thought my life would unravel like a frayed rope in the dry winds of the Arizona desert. But here I am, piecing it back together one thread at a time. Back when I first met Jake, we were just two kids scraping by at a community college in Phoenix. He was all rugged charm, with that easy grin and calloused hands from summers working on his family's ranch up near Flagstaff. I was the quiet type, sketching landscapes in my notebook, dreaming of a life that felt as vast as the canyons. He made me feel alive, like the world wasn't so overwhelming when he was around. We'd sit under the stars after class, talking about everything, his ambition to turn the family land into a thriving agribusiness, my hope for a home filled with warmth and stability. It felt real, you know, like we were building something unbreakable. We tied the knot right after graduation, in a simple ceremony at his folks' place, with the Rockies looming in the distance like silent witnesses.
No fancy frills.
Just us and a handful of friends around a bonfire. We started small, pooling our savings to buy a modest spread outside Tucson. Nothing grand, but it had good soil and a view that stole your breath at dawn. I handled the creative side, designing logos for local farms and marketing their produce online, while Jake crunched numbers and struck deals. We called it Red Rock Ventures, and those early days were pure grit. I'd wake up to the sound of roosters, brew coffee strong enough to wake the dead, and we'd work side by side until the sun dipped low. There were nights we'd argue over budgets, my heart pounding with frustration, but we'd always end up laughing, wrapped in each other's arms under the quilt his grandma made. I thought that's what love was, weathering the storms together. But success crept in like monsoon rains, sudden and flooding. Our business took off when Jake landed a big contract with a national distributor. Money rolled in, and we upgraded, bought more land, hired hands, even got a sleek office in downtown Tucson. I still packed his lunches, slipped notes into his truck glove box saying things like, "You're my rock," but something shifted in him. The late nights at networking events became routine. He'd come home smelling of bourbon and cigar smoke from those steakhouse meetings in Scottsdale. I'd ask how it went, and he'd brush it off with that charming drawl. "Just business."
Eminencia.
Trust me.
Y de not.
Pushing down the knot in my gut, telling myself it was the pressure of growth. But inside, doubts whispered like wind through the saguaros. Why did his phone buzz more than he looked at me? Why did his touches feel obligatory, like checking off a list? The crack came one dusty afternoon while I was sorting laundry in our sun-baked utility room. A receipt fluttered from his jeans pocket, a pricey necklace from a high-end jeweler in Phoenix.
Not my style.
And the chain was 14 inches. I wear 18. My chest tightened, a wave of nausea hitting me as I sat on the concrete floor, staring at that slip of paper.
Who was it for?
The question burned, but I didn't shatter.
No.
I folded it away, cooked his favorite chili that night, and watched him eat like nothing was wrong. In bed, as he turned away, I lay awake, my mind racing. Was this the end of us? The life we'd built felt like a mirage now, shimmering but unreal. I replayed our years, the laughter, the shared dreams, and wondered where I'd gone wrong. Had I been too trusting, too focused on holding it all together? The hurt gnawed at me, but beneath it, a quiet resolve stirred. I wouldn't let this bury me. Not yet. I started paying attention, not out of paranoia, but survival. His client dinners every other Thursday at that upscale spot in Sedona, always paid in cash.
No traces.
I checked our shared calendars discreetly, noted the patterns. Then, a photo from a company fundraiser I skipped due to a migraine, Jake in the background, arm around a young woman's waist, her eyes sparkling up at him. She was Sarah Klein, our new marketing intern, fresh from ASU, ambitious and sharp. I'd met her once, polite. But now her social media posts screamed clues, quotes from Jake's favorite country songs, tags at bars he frequented, a shadowed hand-holding pic where the ring was cropped out. But I knew those knuckles, those veins. I'd traced them 1,000 times. The pain hit hardest not from him, but his mom, Margaret. She dropped by one Sunday for coffee on our porch, the desert heat shimmering off the horizon. "You're so lucky, Emily," she said, patting my hand. "Jake's out there building an empire for you too. Not many men have that drive." I forced a smile, but inside, I screamed. How could she not see? She idolized him. Always had. Comparing him to his late dad, the stoic rancher. Just support him.
Dear.
Don't nag. Her words stung, making me feel small, invisible. That night, alone in the guest room, I'd started sleeping there for space. Tears finally came. Why fight for someone who didn't fight for me? But the anger mixed with sorrow, memories of our wedding vows, promising forever under those stars. I couldn't just walk away. I needed truth, closure. So, I called Tom, my old college buddy, a level-headed lawyer from Denver who'd always had my back. "I need help," I whispered. An exit strategy. He didn't judge, just listened. And that's when the planning began. Quiet as a desert night. We met in a roadside diner off I-10, away from prying eyes. Tom slid me a folder. "Start with this, separate account in your name, copies of business docs." I nodded, my heart heavy with the weight of it all. Was this really us? The couple who danced barefoot in the rain? But as I drove home, the red rocks glowing in the sunset, a flicker of strength ignited. I wouldn't rage. I'd reclaim. That night, as Jake snored, I backed up files on a hidden drive, my mind swirling with what-ifs. What if he'd just talked to me? What if I'd seen the signs sooner? The internal storm raged, but I held steady, knowing this was my path to peace. The deeper I dug, the more the hurt twisted like a knife in my chest. But I couldn't stop. Truth had become my lifeline in this barren emotional landscape. Tom's advice echoed. Gather evidence legally.
Eminencia. No shortcuts. So,
I did. Methodically, like plotting a crop rotation on our ranch. I mirrored Jake's work phone one evening when he left it charging, my fingers trembling as messages popped up. Sarah's words, "Can't wait for our getaway, miss your touch." My stomach churned, visions of them together flashing unbidden. But worse were the business emails, her suggesting ways to restructure Red Rock Ventures, shifting assets to sideline me. Jake's replies, "Smart plan. We'll make it look clean." It wasn't just betrayal, it was erasure. Like I was a footnote in our shared story. Nights blurred into a haze of inner turmoil. I'd stare at the ceiling fan whirring above our bed, Jake's steady breaths mocking my insomnia. Why her? Was I not enough? The woman who'd stood by him through droughts and debts? Self-doubt clawed at me. Maybe I'd let myself fade, buried in work and routine.
But no.
This was on him. His choices. Still, the grief was raw. I mourned the man I thought he was. The one who'd whispered promises under moonlit skies. Margaret's visits amplified the ache. Over pie in our kitchen, she'd beam. Jake's expanding the ranch, proud of my boy. Idenot. Biting back tears. Thinking, if only you knew. Her blind faith in him made me feel isolated, like screaming into the wind. "He's got his daddy's spirit," she'd say. I wanted to shake her. "Open your eyes. But I held back. The conflict tearing me, hurt her, or let the life fester. Tom and I ramped up. We met at a quiet trailhead in the Superstition Mountains, hiking while talking strategy. File for divorce quietly, he said, handing me forms. Arizona's community property laws mean you get half. But prove infidelity and fraud for leverage. I nodded. But inside, waves of sorrow crashed. Half of what? Our dreams? I photographed receipts, logged location data from his truck's GPS, trips to motels in Flagstaff. One audio clip from his voicemail, Sarah's voice, giggling about our future. Listening alone in my studio, I crumpled, sobs echoing off the adobe walls. How had love turned to this poison? The man I'd built everything with now plotted my downfall. Yet, pity crept in for him, trapped in his ego, for her. Maybe just naive. But mostly for us. The us that died quietly. As the anniversary neared, 8 years since our bonfire vows, Jake announced a bash at the old ranch hall in Sedona. Big crowd.
Eminência.
Let's show 'em we're solid. His grin hid the malice. I overheard him on the phone one night. Voice low in the barn. Serve papers there. Make her crack in front of everyone. Sarah's reply. What if she fights? Him, she won't. Too soft. My blood boiled. But the pain was deeper, a hollow ache for the trust shattered. Soft? I'd been his anchor.
Now.
That softness would be my weapon. I confided more in Tom. Make it humane.
No total destrucción.
He raised a brow. After what he's done? But I insisted. Revenge without mercy would make me like him.
Inside.
The battle raged. Forgive or fight. I chose both. Planting seeds of doubt. Changed our shared drive password to our wedding date. Left a single cactus flower on his desk, a nod to our first date hike. Margaret called. Excited. Can't wait for the party. Jake's idea is so romantic. Her enthusiasm stung, amplifying my isolation. Alone on the porch at dusk, watching coyotes howl in the distance, tears flowed freely. Why did this hurt so much? Because beneath the anger, love lingered, like embers refusing to die. I journaled furiously. What lesson here? Communication? Honesty? But the emotion swelled. Heavier now, pressing on my chest like the desert heat. I prepared a gift for Margaret, a velvet box with evidence, printouts of transfers he'd dipped into her retirement fund without asking. Photos, nothing explicit, just damning. A USB of emails. And my letter. I loved your son. But truth sets us free. Wrapping it. My hands shook, not from fear, but overwhelming sorrow for the family fracturing. The night before, Jake paced, logging into the drive and failing. His muttered curse reached me upstairs, where I lay feigning sleep. Panic flickered in his eyes at breakfast, but he masked it with coffee and small talk. I smiled back, my heart fracturing further. This wasn't joy, it was necessity. As guests RSVP'd, ranchers,
Client.
locals, the wait intensified. What if this backfired? What if I lost more than him? The inner storm peaked, emotions rawer than before. But I breathed deep, whispering to myself, you deserve truth. And so does she. The anticipation clawed at my soul like thorns from a cholla cactus, each prick drawing blood from wounds I thought I'd bandaged. As the party loomed, I dove deeper into preparation. But the emotional toll mounted, waves of regret crashing harder, questioning every step. Tom reviewed the box. This exposes fraud clearly. Embezzlement from Margaret's trust violates Arizona statutes. But the letter? That's personal dynamite. I nodded. But inside, Guilt surged. Was I destroying a mother-son bond? Memories flooded. Margaret teaching me to bake cornbread. Her warm hugs. Yet, Jake's deceit poisoned everything. Hiding it would betray her too. Make the ending kinder, I urged Tom. No public shaming beyond necessity. He agreed. Drafting a settlement. Equitable split. No alimony war. But my heart ached. Why couldn't Jake have chosen us? Nights were torment. I'd wander the ranch under starlit skies. Wind whispering accusations. You're vengeful.
No.
Protective. The conflict tore me, love's remnants begging for reconciliation. Betrayal's fire demanding justice. Overheard Jake and Sarah again. After the papers. We start fresh. Her. What about your mom? Him. She'll side with me. Arrogance fueled my resolve. But sorrow drowned it. What broke him? Our success? My complacency? I confronted my flaws in the mirror. Too passive. Too trusting. Tears streamed. This wasn't just his fault. We'd both let silence fester. Lesson emerging. Speak before it's too late. I added to Margaret's letter. Forgiveness is possible. But truth first. Tom and I finalized digitally. Encrypted shares locked my assets under prenup clauses. If he contests, evidence of adultery voids his claims, Tom said. But the humanity weighed. I scheduled emails to board members post-party. Not during, give Jake a chance to explain privately. Compassion clashed with hurt. Why spare him? Because total ruin would haunt me. Margaret visited, unexpectedly, bringing jam from her orchard. Excited for tomorrow? Her eyes sparkled. I hugged her tightly, throat closing. More than you know. Inside. Anguish peaked. Betraying her trust felt like betrayal itself. She sensed something. You okay? Honey. I lied. Just nostalgic. Leaving. She squeezed my hand. Your family. The words gutted me. Sobs racking after she left. Family? Shattered by secrets. The box felt heavier now. Velvet soft but content sharp. I planted final clues. A photo of us on his nightstand. Cracked frames symbolizing us. Our wedding band on the sink. Forgotten. Jake noticed. Eyes narrowing at dinner. Everything all right? His concern feigned. But mine real. Flicker of old Jake? I almost confessed. Emotion surging. Love. Hate. Pity entwined.
Fine, he whispered.
Heart breaking anew. Alone. I paced. Inner monologue relentless. End this with grace. Teach mercy. The party eve. Jake slept fitfully. I watched. Tenderness mixing with rage. Why him? Why us? The pain deepened. Raw. Like exposed nerves in the desert cold. Guests arrived under Sedona's red cliffs. The hall aglow with string lights. Country tunes playing softly. Laughter filled the air. But my chest constricted, facade cracking. Jake's arm around me felt foreign. Sarah lurked in a sundress. Avoiding eyes. Margaret beamed. Kissing cheeks. Beautiful night. Her joy amplified my torment soon. It'd shatter. Toasts flowed. Jake clinked glasses. To 8 years with my rock. His words hollow. Mine's silent prayer. Let this heal. Not destroy. Hour in. He slipped me the envelope. Open it.
Eminencia.
Divorce papers. Crisp as betrayal. My hands shook. But I met his gaze, smug fading to uncertainty. The room hushed. I walked to Margaret. Voice steady despite inner hurricane. This is for you. Please open now. She untied the ribbon. Confusion turning to horror as she scanned contents. Photos of Jake and Sarah at diners, bank statements showing siphoned funds, my letter. He betrayed us both. But we can rise. Her face paled. hand trembling. No outburst, just a long stare at Jake. Eyes welling. "Mom," he whispered. She stood, voice breaking. "How could you?" Then walked out, door clicking like a final breath. Whispers erupted, Jake's face drained. I faced him, tears blurring. "You wanted an audience. Now face the truth." Emotions overwhelmed, sorrow for his fall, relief for my freedom. But Mercy whispered, "This isn't the end." The silence after Margaret's exit hung like thunderclouds over the parched earth, heavy and electric, charging the air with unspoken accusations that pierced my soul deeper than any blade. Guests shifted uneasily, glasses clinking awkwardly as eyes darted between Jake and me. His face, once so confident, crumpled, panic flashing in those eyes I'd once trusted implicitly.
"Ing."
"What have you done?" he hissed, voice cracking, grabbing my arm. I pulled free, the touch igniting a firestorm within, betrayal's blaze mingling with heartbreaking pity. How had we fallen so far? The man before me, unraveling, was the boy I'd loved under endless skies, now a stranger, lost in his own web. Aubrey, Sarah, bolted first, slipping through the crowd like a shadow fleeing dawn, her heels clicking frantic on the wooden floor. No glance back, just abandonment. Jake's phone buzzed relentlessly. He checked, color draining further. Board members murmuring. One, old rancher buddy approaching. "This true?"
"So?"
"Stealing from your ma?" Jake stammered, misunderstanding, but the evidence spoke volumes. Inside, my heart thrashed, triumph soured by grief. I'd won, but at what cost? Margaret's shattered expression haunted me, her pain mirrored mine, amplified. Whispers grew. She knew all along. Poor woman. Empathy for me, disdain for him. A client patted my shoulder. Strong move, but strength felt hollow. Tears threatened as emotion surged, rawer than the desert's unrelenting sun. Jake turned pleading, "Let's talk private." His vulnerability cracked my armor. Flicker of remorse? I nodded, leading to a side room, door shutting on the chaos. Alone, he sank into a chair, head in hands. "Why like this?" Voice broken. My chest ached. I sat opposite, words tumbling. "You planned my humiliation." Papers in public? After years of lies. He looked up, eyes red. I was scared. Business stress. Sarah was escape, excuses, but sincerity peeked through. Inner turmoil peaked. Hate him? Forgive? And mom's money? I pressed. He winced. Bad choice. Thought I'd repay. Silence stretched. I saw his fractures, ego masking fear, success breeding isolation. Pity overwhelmed anger, lesson crystallizing. We're all flawed, seeking connection wrongly. Outside, murmurs faded, party dissolving. Tom texted, "Asset secure. Your call now." But destruction felt wrong. "Jake," I whispered, voice trembling with pent emotion. "This ends tonight." But not in ruins. He blinked, confused. I continued. "Sign fair papers, half the business.
"No contest."
Return Margaret's funds." Tears streamed down his face. I messed up bad. Nodding. I felt release, not vengeance, but closure. We both did. I ignored signs. You hid truths. His sob echoed my own internal wail, grief for lost love, hope for healing. We talked hours. Raw confessions, his pressure from Dad's legacy, my withdrawal into work. Emotions poured. Heavier. Cathartic, like monsoon rains cleansing the arid land. Margaret returned later, face etched with sorrow, joining us. Son, she said, voice quivering. You broke my heart. He knelt. I'm sorry.
Ma.
She hugged him fiercely, tears flowing. Turning to me, Emily, you showed mercy where I couldn't. Her words unlocked my floodgates. We embraced. 3 broken souls in that dim room. No easy fixes, but truth bridged gaps. Jake agreed to therapy, stepping back from business. I felt lighter, emotions peaking in profound relief, revenge tempered by humanity. Teaching forgiveness's quiet power. Dawn broke as we left, sky blushing over red rocks. Jake drove Margaret home. I followed with Tom. Proud of you, he said. Inside, peace settled amid lingering ache, love's scars, but growth's promise. The party, meant for downfall, birthed redemption. Lesson light but deep. Speak truths early. Offer grace always. Emotions, once stormy, now ebbed to gentle waves, ready for new horizons. In the aftermath's quiet dawn, emotions engulfed me like a flash flood through the canyons, overwhelming, transformative, sweeping away debris of deceit to reveal raw, fertile ground beneath. Weeks blurred, divorce finalized amicably in Tucson's courthouse. Community property divided clean. I kept the original ranch. Jake the expansions. No courtroom drama, his admission of fault smoothed paths. Restitution to Margaret Swift via wire transfer. But the real battle was internal. Nights alone.
Idéer under blankets.
Sobs racking as memories assaulted. Our first kiss amid wildflowers. Now tainted. Why did mercy feel like loss? Doubt tormented. Too soft again? But no, choosing humanity over hatred freed me. Though the grief intensified. Heavier with hindsight's clarity. Margaret called daily. Her voice a lifeline. Come over. Honey. At her Flagstaff home. We'd sit on the porch swing, sharing tea and tears. I raised him better, she'd whisper, eyes distant. I'd hold her hand. We all stray. Forgiveness mends. Her vulnerability mirrored mine. Mother's love fractured, yet enduring. One evening, she handed a deed. Half my orchard, yours now. Stunned, I protested. Can't, she insisted. You taught us grace. Take it as hope. Embracing. Emotions crested, profound gratitude mingling with sorrow for what was, joy for what could be. Jake attended therapy. Tentative texts came. Thanks for not destroying me. Responses measured. But healing sparked. Inner monologue raged. Hate lingers, but pity dominates. His brokenness echoes mine. I rebuilt slowly, renaming my Share Canyon Creative, focusing on sustainable farm branding. Clients returned, drawn to authenticity. Mornings,
Idee katrayos.
wind carrying whispers of renewal. Emotions deepened, cathartic releases in journals. Lesson etched, communication prevents chasms, mercy bridges them. A month on, Jake visited the ranch. Hat in hand, can we talk? We walked the fields. Sunset painting the sky fiery. I was lost, he admitted, voice cracking. Feared failing you. Tears fell. I feared losing us. Confessions poured, his isolation. My silence.
Norekinling.
But understanding bloomed. Friends, he asked. I nodded, heart swelling with bittersweet peace. Love evolved, not erased. Margaret hosted a small gathering, us 3, mending fences over barbecue.
L'auteur tentative.
But genuine, stories shared without shadows. Her toast, to truths that heal. Emotions peaked, overwhelming waves of redemption washing over, grief transmuted to grace.
Now.
In my sun-drenched home, I sleep soundly.
Katpuring beside.
Business thrives, I date casually. Heart open but wiser. Jake rebuilds modestly. Sarah long gone.
We nod at town events. Novi ternis.
The scar remains, but it's a map to strength. Inner peace whispers, you chose light over darkness. And in that choice, I found myself whole, resilient, human.